Good morning, everyone. So I'm really relieved to see do good in your hood up there because on my autocorrect it kept trying to tell me it was do well in your hood, which just didn't really have the same ring to it. So I got to develop a neighborhood social connection program in Canmore, Alberta. Before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge the Lekwungen speaking people and Songhees, Esquimalt, and Saanich people whose traditional territory I'm on today. I would also like to thank my supervisor at the town of Canmore, Lisa Brown, as well as my workplace supervisor, Tara Gilchrist, and the FCSS team for supporting me during my practicum. I would also like to thank Nigel and Betty and Dr. Hayes for their involvement in getting me through my practicum. So I did a workplace practicum in community social development, town of Canmore, and the program in a nutshell was connecting people, building capacity in neighborhoods, and through meaningful events, meaningful conversations, and really focused on people and what they can do and what they can bring to their community. So the town of Canmore had various priorities. Social capital was one of them outlined in the community social development strategy, and influencing this through new neighborhood connections, neighborhood child development, knowing the names of kids on your block, looking out for them, that kind of thing, and empowering participation. So really focused on trying to accomplish those when we set out to design the program. In addition, we really wanted to have this as a very positive impact in the community. So we wanted it to be place-based versus issue-based, which is all about enhancing the existing environment rather than focusing on solving a problem. And this is basically having a glass half full approach that you're focusing on the positives in your neighborhood. And looking at what you can do to enhance it rather than looking at what is broken. We also had it in mind to have a resident-led initiative. We all know the power of health promotion in communities when people have a say in what they're doing and what the project is. So that was another very important foundation of developing the program. So there are a few unique considerations for Canmore. It's a highly desirable place to live, a growing population, huge tourism economy, but because of limited space, because of natural geography and boundaries such as parks, land, and wildlife corridor, there's actually quite limited space for expanding infrastructure growth. So I know what you're thinking, that snow on Main Street, how is that desirable? But here in Victoria, I know that some people might not think, it is actually appealing to some people to be able to ski. So one of the issues is that there are a lot of second homeowners, and a lot of these homes sit empty for the majority of the year. And you can see that would be a challenge in getting to know your neighbors if you actually didn't have neighbors living there. The second issue is that there is large seasonal and transient population because of the hospitality industry, tourism industry, ski hill staff, park staff. This creates challenges in the neighborhood connection because there are just fewer people that are there long term, and neighbors are showing up, living there, but ultimately having the intention of leaving sometime soon. So this all contributes to a bit of a hollowing out of the neighborhoods and the social connection that really binds the community, and that's what we were aiming to affect. So we wanted to initiate conversations between people, and our vision was really aiming for familiarity, where folks are confident and comfortable in approaching their neighbors, they know people's names, they are willing to borrow a bike pump or lend a snow shovel or water someone's garden when they're gone. Ultimately, we saw a healthy community of neighborhoods with strong connections, a place where people felt comfortable, regardless of who they are and regardless of how long they have lived in town. So the actual development, I got to cover absolutely everything from research right down to volunteer recruitment throughout. So it was busy, but lots of fun. I got to do presentations to council, multiple stakeholder engagements with different agencies and different people from around the community. And I even got to dabble in the graphic design of web and visual materials. So it really, I had a lot of new experiences that were very enriching to my own practicum. Researching existing programs was really inspiring. I had about 3 different ones that were really impactful for developing this model. That included Abundant Communities Edmonton, which really focused on asset-based community development and connecting people with online database of their assets. Then there was BC programs, Resilient Neighborhoods, and Neighborhood Small Grants, which were really focused on delivering grants and developing those neighborhood associations in accomplishing those grassroots initiatives. And Banff also did this last year, a very similar idea. And because they're so close, they're 20 minutes away from us, and they had very similar resident base and economical situations. So I was able to look at some of their learnings as well. The public health implications were huge, so I was really blown away with just how much neighborhoods contribute to our health on a daily basis. Research is showing face-to-face interaction really decreases depression, anxiety, stress, loneliness, social isolation, which is really important with an aging demographic as well. Increases resilience, safety, belonging, self-efficacy, and is also important in emergency situations. And also these huge impacts on many of the social determinants of health, from social inclusion, early childhood development, physical environments. If you have a really happening hood, then you're even influencing income disparities, food security, culture, all of that. So it's huge. And then the fun part of the research was looking at actual ideas that worked in other neighborhoods. So anything from murals to gardens, tactical urbanism, so pop-up markets, food organizing, feasts and potlucks, little libraries, there's, you name it, and some neighborhood has done it to get together. This was the actual program outline, so really simple in the idea of it. You're recruiting volunteers, training them, and then supporting them in doing their opening event for their neighborhood, and then really trying to get that ball rolling and impact more people. Have your neighbors come up with suggestions or lead groups, events, gatherings, projects, start clubs, informal networks, that kind of thing. We offer on some optional training. Verbal judo was one of the ones offered in the town for potentially challenging situations that might arise for our volunteers. And supportive monthly meetings so they can support one another. And then we would help them develop a final council presentation. So in summary, Do Good in Your Hood gave me an in-depth look at the power neighborhoods have in supporting population health. And McKnight and Block, authors of The Abundant Community, really put it well that a neighborhood can raise a child, provide security, sustain our health, secure our income, and care for our vulnerable people. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. That was really great. Some questions for Megan?
Well, hello, Megan. Thank you for your great presentation. I just have a quick question. It's sort of like a personal interest to me. As a person who used to do actual judo, like what's a verbal judo? Can you give it, because I'm so out of shape I can't do actual judo anymore. Maybe I'll do the verbal from now on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's a little program or workshop base, I guess, offered by one of our bylaw managers who is out on the street engaging with people on a daily basis and will, come across challenging situations. And so we wanted to be able to equip our volunteers with the knowledge of how to navigate those situations as they came up. So I haven't taken it myself yet, so I can't respond to how verbally fit you have to be to take part.
I think we have time for one more question.
Thanks for a great presentation. So you outlined some, that you were really involved with the volunteer recruitment. And I'm just wondering, what was your most effective strategy to be able to recruit these volunteers? Because I know it can be very difficult at times.
I would say that the marketing had a huge role to play there, and just making it, we wanted it to be very approachable and not at all like the municipality trying to force their ways on the neighborhoods. So in all of the website, the ads, a newspaper article actually that came out yesterday, it's about being very opening, welcoming, friendly, and word of mouth goes a long way too. So telling everyone about how that was happening. Volunteers also got an honorarium, which was advertised, so as a bit of a carrot to getting them in the door at least. Yeah, that helps.
Awesome. Thank you very much.